What is up, guys? Welcome to New Sense for Nerds Geek. And I already broke down all the Marvel stuff they announced. You can check that out in that corner right up there. All the Marvel stuff they announced yesterday I already covered. But now I want to talk about the rest of the stuff. So we got the Star Wars, the Pixar. Those are two. I'm going to cover everything. And then I'll also mention some of the Disney stuff and like all that sort of things. So I will put timestamps in the description. So, you can skip ahead to what you want to watch. So starting with Star Wars, there was a lot of Star Wars announcements. I'm going to start talking about the movies and then move into the shows. So we got talk about two movies, and now we have two Star Wars movies that are confirmed. One, Rogue Squadron, was just announced, directed by none other than Patty Jenkins. You may know her as the director of Wonder Woman. That was a very big surprise. I wasn't expecting that. I was just like, oh, wow. That's happening. I don't know. We don't really know much about it, but focusing a movie on pilot seems interesting. Something I haven't done before. And Patty Jenkins being the director makes me very intrigued for it. And then the other Star Wars movie has been confirmed a while ago, and that is Taika Waititi is doing a Star Wars film, and I love Taika Waititi. He's one of my favorite directors, so I am very, very excited about this. They said it's going to be very fresh, unique, and have his sense of humor, and so that makes it all good. That makes me really happy. It seems like it's going to be a Taika Waititi film while also being a Star Wars film, which is exactly what I want him to do. He already directed the 8th episode of The Mandalorian, and I thought that's probably still the best episode of The Mandalorian, so I'm really excited to see what he does with the full movie. Going into the shows, there's one that we actually got a full trailer for, and we actually got some footage, and that is Bad Batch. I wasn't really looking forward to this show, at all. I wasn't a fan of the Bad Batch characters in Season 7 of Clone Wars, and then I watched this trailer, and it got me a lot more excited, because the actual sort of story they seem to be telling that takes place, very much after Revenge of the Sith, falling clones is something we haven't really seen, even though we've seen a lot taking place during that time. And the trailer just looked good. So I'm more excited. I'm just hoping that they can make the characters better. And then the other one where you got some behind the scenes footage because they started production they said 3 weeks ago is Andor, the show about Cassian Andor, and will also be a prequel taking place in between 3 episodes soon 4 about Rogue One, obviously. And the behind the scenes stuff, it looked pretty cool. I'm excited to see it take a sort of spy genre in the Star Wars universe. And then we saw K2SO and Mon Mothma are returning. And then also they announced some other cast members who are going to be in it. And one is Stellan Skarsgård, which it's pretty exciting. They're getting Stellan Skarsgård in there. And then we have Obi-Wan Kenobi. That they announced that's the title of the show. It's not called Kenobi, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. And they announced Hayden Christensen will be returning as Darth Vader. So saying he's Darth Vader makes me think he's going to be in the suit, right? Because obviously they wouldn't have him do the voice, right? Because James Earl Jones obviously has to do the voice. Then what's the point of having Hayden Christensen if you're just going to have him be in the suit? I don't know how he's going to be in it. If he's just in the suit, then it's kind of pointless. I mean, in Rogue One, Darth Vader is in. Why don't you just use the guy that was in the suit in Darth Vader? We won't know it's Hayden Christensen anywhere. We won't hear his voice or see him unless we see him in... I was thinking if they do flashbacks, we will and stuff, but where it's taking place, what's the point of him being there? I just don't know, because I haven't really said anything, and then they didn't even mention James Earl Jones, but I feel like you don't have to mention him, because people just assume he's playing Darth Vader, but then he's playing Darth Vader, so there's a lot of stuff there, and I want to know exactly what is happening with Darth Vader and Anakin. Is Hayden Christensen just in the suit, because they didn't really clarify any of that, and then... They did say that there will be a rematch between Obi-Wan and Anakin. And actually, I was looking at a thing in New Hope. When they, see, each other and stuff, it kind of actually does. And, when Obi-Wan's going to the Death Star and stuff, it kind of seems like they have had some interactions since Revenge of the Sith. So I guess it actually makes sense, and I bet that will be cool seeing. So I'm really excited about Obi-Wan Kenobi. I love the character. I love Ewan McGregor. I just want to know how Hayden Christensen is going to be in it and how Darth Vader's going to be in it. And then we have two shows which are actually going to be spin-offs of The Mandalorian, and they're going to have characters from it, but then also they're going to play into Mandalorian, and they said they're going to like connect sort of and have like crossovers and like build the stuff sort of together. And I actually think this is a great idea, because it's kind of weird to me like how all the big stuff was happening in The Mandalorian, and like everything was The Mandalorian, like it was the Star Wars show because it was the first one. But I'm like, there's going to be a lot of Star Wars shows. It just doesn't really make sense to have all the big stuff happening just in Mando, especially because of the premise. It's just about this Mandalorian. Like, you have to do some stuff with the premise with, obviously, Grogu, but it doesn't seem like it should just have every big thing in the Star Wars universe. But it seems like they were setting up some spin-offs with the two spin-offs are Ahsoka and Rangers of the New Republic, which I'm assuming Cara Dune will be the main star of that. So I think that makes a lot of sense. So Ahsoka will get her own show and like kind of doing her sort of things, and then can tie into the Mandalorian like she already was. Cara Dune, I think that would be better, because Cara Dune at this point kind of just shows up in the Mandalorian when she, like, every couple episodes, she'll kind of just show up and stuff. Not in every episode. And she can still do that in The Mandalorian. She'll just also get her own show. So I think that makes a lot of sense. And then Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are executive producers on both of them, so that is a good sign. And then Lando was announced, and they didn't even announce who's starring in it. I'd presume Donald Glover's returning, but they didn't say that. I love Donald Glover. I really liked him as Lando. So I hope he returns. But they just didn't say anything. And then we have The Acolyte, which is my most anticipated Star Wars show. And this is the, like, sort of premise for the show. Here's what they say. It takes viewers into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic era. That just looks exciting. So the High Republic era is like this new sort of era they're introducing to Star Wars. They're about to make a bunch of books for it. The books start coming out in January, but they didn't announce any sort of shows or movies tying in, so I thought that was kind of weird. But we're finally going to get a show taking place in this time, and I'm really excited. We're getting a show that doesn't take place any time related to that sort of stuff, because almost all these shows are like in between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope. Even if not, it's like right after Return of the Jedi. Like, there's just a span of when they're taking place. This one's going to take place way before that, which makes me really excited. And also how it's going to be dealing with, like, dark side powers and the dark side of the Force. And even this logo looks really cool. I'm really excited about this show. Something very new and different from Star Wars that I can't wait to see. And then we have Star Wars Visions, which is going to be a series of anime, like, Star Wars shorts. So that's also something new and interesting. I guess I'm pretty excited. I don't really know exactly what this will be, so it's I need to see more to fully get on board with it, but the idea definitely seems interesting enough. And then we have a droid story, which will follow R2-D2 and C-3PO with this new droid. And this one, I feel like if they're doing a droid story, it's gonna be more for children. I mean, they literally had a droids cartoon back in the day, and even in like a Lego thing with R2-D2 and C-3PO, and so I'm not really that looking forward to it that much. It's also kind of interesting. I didn't see them say what time period it will take place in, and it's R2-D2 and C-3PO, so it could take place like any time because they're there in all 9 movies. Yeah, you could take it place in, like, any sort of era. You could have it take place with R2-D2 and C-3PO. So I actually very much wonder when this is taking place. And then the only other thing from Lucasfilm that interested me was Indiana Jones 5. They didn't really announce anything new with it. They just confirmed it will be directed by James Mangold. And it's like, I have mixed feelings on it because like, Steven Spielberg directed all 4 Indiana Jones movies. He's kind of like Indiana Jones guy. But maybe after Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, maybe it's time to try giving it to some fresh hands. Give it to someone else to let them have a try with Indiana Jones. So, and James Mangold is a great director. I've really loved everything I've seen from him. So that kind of makes a lot of sense why they choose him. And then Harrison Ford is also getting old. He is 78. And if they're going to film this next year, like, they're not going to film it for like another year. He'll be like 79. He'll be like 80 when it comes out. I feel like that's way too old to be an action star. I love Harrison Ford, but I don't know how it'll work. How will he be able to do the action scenes and stuff? I don't know. So I'm a little bit nervous about Indiana Jones 5. For the franchise overall, I love the first Indiana Jones and the third Indiana Jones. And then Temple of Doom I think is good. And then Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I don't think is as terrible as some people. I don't hate it, but I don't really think it's that good. So I'm a fan of this series overall, and I really hope this Indiana Jones 5 is good. Now, let's look at the other stuff. So this one, I didn't really pay attention to the National Geographic thing. I kind of went and did other stuff, but when I came back in, I noticed that there's going to be a show with Chris Hemsworth, basically called Limitless, where he tests the limits of his body. And basically, if you watch the trailer, he's basically shirtless the whole time. So they basically made a show to make Chris Hemsworth shirtless. I can just imagine the people on National Geographic being like, so we took a poll with all 88 million Disney Plus subscribers and asked them, why did you get Disney Plus? And the results say that 0% said it's for National Geographic. We need something more. We need people to watch National Geographic. What do people like? What are people attracted to? I know what people are attracted to. What? Chris Hemsworth. Well, the MCU already has Chris Hemsworth. They'll just watch the MCU. But what if we make a show where you can just have Chris Hemsworth shirtless the whole time? Genius! Animation. Raya and the Last Dragon will now both do the premiere access and theaters same day. And this is the first thing they're doing both of those. It's like they tested with Mulan, just premiere access. They're testing with Soul with just on Disney Plus, and now they're trying both premiere access and theaters. So it seems like they're trying everything and then see what will work. So I don't know how this will work. I don't think I'll pay premiere access. I might watch it in the theaters if they're safe at that point. But yeah, and then we're getting a Baymax, Zootopia, Tiana, and Moana shows. All sort of new Disney movies are getting their own sort of shows, and I'm a pretty big fan of all these. I think I don't love any of them, but I would definitely say I like all of them. Baymax is probably the one I'm most excited about because I love the character of Baymax. And then we got Encanto. That's their next Disney movie after Raya and the Last Dragon, and it also has music from Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's literally just doing all the music for everything Disney, it seems like, because he already did Mary Poppins Returns and Moana, and now he's doing Little Mermaid, and he's doing this, and I'm sure he's doing more I probably missed. But yeah, I mean, I like Lin-Manuel Miranda's music, so bring it on. Now it's time to get in to Pixar, and I love Pixar, and they have announced a bunch of stuff that gets me really excited. So, yes. First off, we got a new scene of Soul. Soul drops in a couple days. I can't wait to watch it. It looks great. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. The new scene looks great. And then we got a little bit of footage of Luca, and I'm not the most excited for this sort of idea and stuff specifically, but I'm sure it'll be great. I've liked most of Pixar's movies. Actually, the vast majority I really, really like. So I'm sure it'll be great. And then they're making a Cars series, and the first Cars movie was probably my favorite movie when I was little. It was either that or Toy Story 2 were probably neck and neck. I loved the first movie as a kid, and then I watched the second one in theaters as like a kid and really loved it, and then I watched the third like as I was like a bit older, and at this point now, I know some people aren't as big in this franchise, and I definitely don't like this franchise as much as when I was little. I still really like the first Cars movie. It's definitely, I don't think it's quite that top tier Pixar, but I still think it's really, really good, and I still definitely enjoy watching it. Cars 2 is, I don't hate it like some people, but I don't think it's good. It's kind of just, it's Cars 2. And then Cars 3 is pretty okay. I think it works well enough and kind of is a big step up from Cars 2. So I think overall as a series, as the movies go, not really the biggest fan, but I really like the first Cars movie. But I don't really feel like the need for the series because I never found the specific world the most interesting of Pixar's. Like, I'm really excited about Monsters at Work, which they didn't say anything about, because I love the world of Monsters Inc. The world of Cars is just, it's not like the most interesting world to like keep exploring. So I was fine with just having the trilogy, but I'll still probably check it out. I'll still check it out. And then they announced Pixar Popcorn, which is going to be a series of new shorts based off a bunch of the different Pixar characters in movies. And I love that Pixar does a bunch of shorts. Like, they would always include them with the DVD of the movie, like a short with those characters, which is a lot of fun. But then for Toy Story 4, instead of doing a short with like the release of it, they did Lamp Life and released on Disney Plus. So that kind of like put it on a place. Can they do more Pixar shorts on Disney Plus? Will that be a place they can release them? So they're actually doing a bunch now, which I'm actually really excited. We're getting a couple based off Toy Story, like you see To Fitness and Beyond and fluffy stuff with Ducky and Bunny, and then like you see The Incredibles has Chore Day, The Incredibles Way, and Cookie Num Num. And then Cars has Dancing with the Cars, Coco, A Day of the Life of the Dead, Finding Dory, Dory Finding, and Soul, Soul the City. So we're actually going to get a Soul short with this too. I'm kind of sad that there's no Onward short because Onward didn't get a short with its release. So I'd love to see an Onward short. Maybe they'll have more and we can finally get some more Onward content. But I'm excited for Pixar Popcorn. And then we also have Doug Days, which is like a series of short films. I love Up, and I specifically love Doug. I think is a funny comic relief character. But it's from the guy who did Forky Asks a Question. It's kind of the same thing. And I wasn't the biggest fan of Forky Asks a Question. I love the character of Forky. I love Toy Story. I was really looking forward to it. And I just didn't think it was that good. But the scene they showed looked fun. So I'll still check it out. I'm sure I'll have fun with it, hopefully. And then we got Turning Red, which is a coming-of-age tale about an enthusiastic 13-year-old girl who for some reason transforms into a massive red panda whenever she gets too excited. That idea sounds ridiculous, but I feel like Pixar can pull it off. They're going to pull it off somehow. I love their kind of approach to a coming-of-age story. They haven't really done that much coming-of-age, I guess, besides Inside Out, which also had a unique approach. I love their unique approaches to stuff. This seems crazy, but I'm sure it's going to be good. And that comes out spring 2022. And then this is probably my favorite specific announcement. I really liked Marvel stuff overall and Star Wars stuff overall, but if you ask me my one announcement that stuck out as my favorite, I would have to go with Lightyear. Man, I love this Toy Story franchise. It's probably one of my favorite franchises. I'm actually making a video on the whole Toy Story franchise. Expect that soon. And then I've always wanted this movie. Ever since I was a little kid, I always wanted, when I saw that scene, the beginning of Toy Story 2, which is the video game, they should make a movie about, the actual Buzz, not the toy Buzz. That would be great. And we're finally getting it. And, yeah, I love just to see, a different approach for Pixar where they're doing a sort of sci-fi movie. That's just something really fun, and I really like the Buzz character. And then they announced Chris Evans is actually playing Buzz. When they first said it and they didn't say Tim Allen, like, they got to get Tim Allen. No one plays Buzz but Tim Allen. And then they said Chris Evans. I'm like, wait. Actually, I think I kind of like that. Because they did say it's going to be like an origin story and a younger Buzz, so it kind of makes sense they do with Chris Evans. And it's not like Tim Allen needs to play the like toy version. They don't really need him to play the one inside of this sort of movie. So I'm fine with the casting. I love Chris Evans. He even said this cool sort of thing on his Instagram. Working with Pixar is a dream come true. I've been a massive fan of their films since the beginning. My team could barely contain their excitement when they told me Pixar had a pitch for me. All they said was Buzz Lightyear. I didn't know what that meant since Tim Allen is Buzz Lightyear and no one could ever touch his performance. I needed to know how this character was different and why the story was worth telling. I can say two things with absolute confidence. I didn't stop smiling through the entire pitch, ear to ear. Everyone can rest easy and get very excited. Trust me when I say that they really know what they're doing over there. This one is going to be special, and it doesn't step on a single thing. I can't even put my excitement into words. I smile every time I think about it. That gets me so excited. And just look at that picture they released. I really like that sort of animation for it. And yeah, this actually isn't technically the first Buzz Lightyear movie. We got that direct-to-video Buzz Lightyear movie, which was like the pilot of the TV show. And I never saw the TV show. I did watch that pilot movie when I was younger. No idea if it holds up at all, but I'm glad we're getting a big theatrical release for Buzz Lightyear. I'm so excited. I love the character of Buzz. I love Chris Evans. I love to see Pixar do different things. They're great at telling all different stories. I want to see them do a sci-fi movie. I love sci-fi movies. I just love everything about this announcement. I'm so excited for Lightyear. So yeah, that's all my thoughts on the Star Wars stuff, along with the other stuff I wanted to talk about from the other different things. Comment down below what you thought about these announcements. What are your favorite things that they announced? Not including the Marvel stuff, because I already made that video, and you can check that out in that corner up there. You can check out my Marvel video where I break down all the Marvel announcements. So yeah, please like and subscribe and keep watching Unique.